to you, and you're welcome to the program on your television, this one on ITV. That's what we call it right here. My name is Evans. You're welcome to Wednesday. Yes, always not alone on this program. I have my co-anchors, Winston Marshall, and of course, Nolu Wakbo. And a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Evan.
Yeah, you look radiant as ever.
You look great as always.
All right, thank you so much. All right, so I have my co-anchors in Lagos and Abuja too. Patricia is arriving in Lagos. Patricia, a very good morning to you. Thank you so much. The program is still on your television this morning on ITV. We sincerely apologize for that mix-up there. You're welcome to the show. My name is Evans. You're welcome to Wednesday. And of course, you're welcome to the program. So I'm not alone on this program. I have my co-anchors, Nolu Wakbo is right here, and also Winston Marshall. I know, good morning.
Good morning, once again.
Yeah, the man in red, good morning.
Yeah, I was like, they just go red and black today,
All right, thank you so much. All right, so we have our co-anchors rather in Lagos and Abuja, Patricia and Dr. Victor Ohaine there in Lagos, and also Abuja we have Kadiri Joseph right there. Now let's go to Lagos. Patricia, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Evans. Good morning. It's good to see you, Evans.
What's up in Lagos?
Well, everything is up in Nigeria, not just in Lagos. But anyway, Lagos is cool and calm this morning. And then, of course, Dr. Victor Ohai is with me. So, Doctor?
Good morning.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Evans. It's drizzling slightly in Lagos today. I don't know what the situation in Benin is. But today, obviously, promises, with all the news in politics, promises to be a very exciting day.
Very exciting, Doctor. Very, very exciting, because what we prepared to discuss this morning probably is going to be changed. So you wake up every morning in Nigeria and it's a new story.
Nigeria is Nollywood.
Anyway, Evans, from Lagos, we had thought we were going to be talking about INEC ADC party survival. But as it is, between yesterday night and this morning, all that has changed. So we probably have to...
You know that it's not over till it's over. This fight might get to the Supreme Court.
Oh,
we'll
yeah.
see how it is. This is at the appeal.
This is at the appeal court. Anyway, Evans, we're going to be looking at INEC and the ADC party's survival. And we're going to be having Dr. Emmanuel Oche later on today. He is the ADC Vice Chairperson, Lagos West. Evans.
Okay. All right. So before we talk about what we're going to be talking about here in Benin, we have Abuja there, Joseph Kadiri. Joseph, a very good morning to you.
Very good morning, Evans, and good morning, dear colleagues and Nigerians. Welcome to this morning on ITV. Abuja is calm this morning. The news of yesterday that filtered from the Court of Appeal, calmed some straight nerves, especially the fact that the Court of Appeal described Justice Peter Lifu as someone who exhibited judicial rascality, a man who, to their own opinion, is not fit to sit on the bench. Reason basically is on the fact that he was asked to stay proceeding on that matter, but he went ahead to give judgment, an ambush judgment, a judgment that parties involved were not even aware of. A WhatsApp platform was created at about 8 minutes past 10, where all the parties concerned brought in, and the information is that they should appear at the Federal High Court in Abuja for a judgment on the issue. And they thought it somehow may not be true, but when they got to court at about 12 noon, the judgment was given, and of course it didn't go well. And yesterday we saw that the Inter-Party Advisory Council, were all in court to, pay solidarity to their own. And at the end of the day, the Court of Appeal said no, that cannot stand. The execution, the application of that judgment be stayed pending the outcome of the substantive suit with them at the Court of Appeal. So for now, all hope is not lost. Atiku can continue to campaign, not directly until that window is open. And you know that for Governor Adeleke, who is in Osun, can also continue his campaign, because that judgment actually affected him, So that is what we'll be looking at today. Just like Patricia said, the discussion was actually to look at the registration, but when that news filtered in, we have to change the topic to now look at the others and counter others. So that's what we'll be doing today from the Abuja studio.
All right, thank you so much, Joseph Kadiri there. The program this morning on ITV, we are firing from our three centers, Benin, Lagos, and Abuja. So in Benin, gentle lady and gentleman, we're going to be looking at the politicization of Nigerian security situation. The country battles insecurity as it stands now. So the big question that we ask is, why are politicians playing, the securing our lives with with politics and all that? I mean, we've seen accusations with top political persons saying that it is this political party that is responsible for the insecurity we are facing now, and of course it is another political party. So the big question we ask is, how did we really get here? What is going on? Should we continue like this? I know.
Should we continue like this? Certainly not, but it didn't start from today. The insecurity situation in the country didn't start from today. Apparently, the politicization of security or insecurity in the country also did not start from today. In the words of the Senate President, all of this that we are saying, all of the shenanigans and the insecurity situation would end after the 2027 general election, trying to paraphrase him. But then again, what we have seen lately with, political actors and opposition parties, and also, the main party on ground is passing blames and pushing it to, one person or the other, one party or the other, and that shouldn't even be the case in the first place. This is people's lives we're talking about. The Oyo State incident just entered over a month just yesterday, and we are still talking about this, sadly. Yesterday we saw Verydark One and all the protesters stage a protest to Oyo State government demanding for the release of the student and also the teachers as well. To the extent that Verydark One said he's going to lay down his life and is going to go there, right there to the bush, and also, you know, try and support the security architecture in Oyo State. We also did get to see Oyo State governor say he's ready to do whatever it takes to ensure that all of these persons are released. I'm actually highlighting Oyo State this morning because that situation is still on the front burner. And I remember when the federal government sent delegations to the state 2 weeks after the incident. What happened there? The Oyo State governor, who actually is the #1 citizen in the country, in that state, the CSO of that state, was not present at the event. And that says a lot about the politicization of insecurity situation in Nigeria, and shouldn't even be in the first place. But we are watching, but at this point we just beg the political actors, appeal to them to ensure that the life of every Nigerian really matters, because it's really not funny. From kidnapping to paying a ransom, I hear that the kidnapping business right now in Nigeria is booming, and what's been done to help, you know, stop all of it is another big question. Wilson, you want to react to this?
It sounds like, you know, the kidnapping business is booming. But the truth of the matter is this: it has gone beyond politicization. Discover that right now it has gone beyond the belonging to APC, PDP, NDC, you just name it. For a retired general to die in captivity, for a 7th general to be executed on live on social media, you get to realize that this time around everyone is now beginning to wake up that, look, politics aside, we have to secure our country. If what I saw last night on social media is anything to go about, we're talking about help for external aid from the US, bringing in gadgets and all that, trying to support Nigeria to really fight against insurgency. I believe that right now it's beginning to take a worrisome dimension. Both Christians, Muslims, no matter the party you belong to, one way or the other, you are impacted negatively by this security situation. So if Oyo State government said that, look, he wasn't informed, the president said that, look, we have to do it our own way. As long as result is gotten, as long as these kids are released, who cares? If you say, look, I'm the #1 man in this particular state, you must pass through me. What if the federal government do have higher intel than the #1 man of the particular state, and they don't want to share? What is the aim? Get those kids released, and for crying out loud, fight against insurgency, fight against kidnapping tooth and nail. If I'm a governor, I choose to go XYZ direction, you as Mr. President, security officials choose to go XYZ or Z, whatever you want to really do, as long as these things stop or reduce to the barest minimum, we have to do all that we can, because this has gone beyond politics, it has gone beyond religion, it has gone beyond political affiliation. Nigeria, sad to say, is boiling right now. Whether you're in a church, in a mosque, traditional institution, one way or another, you are being affected. So come on, let's forget about this politics. Let's forget about religions. Let's tackle this thing head on, because it has gone beyond politics. That's my own take on this, because right now, even indigents of certain states are even getting involved. They're recruiting themselves to do this kind of. Now take a look what happened in Benin along Airport Road. Yeah. Are those Fulanis? Are those Hausas? These are youths, educated, precise, they were on a mission, and sadly it was executed. So you see, like what you said right now, it's like it's booming, everybody wants to cash in on it, but is it the right thing to do?
Anyway, we're saying, you know, at times when our politicians talk, a little wonder whether they think they are talking to some bunch of fools. I mean, how can you say that until after the next election? That's when securing of lives and properties is going to be guaranteed.
Because that is the mentality of Nigerians.
When you know that it's sole responsibility of any government is to ensure that lives and properties are secured. So what you are invariably telling Nigerians is that, hey, I don't have your time now. I have my time for my election. We saw the flagging off of some of the political parties with their campaign yesterday. So what you are telling Nigerians is that, hey, it's only election this period. I don't have your time. So you just stay put, you grapple with the problem why I go and, secure my election. Then after my election, I'm going to go. Now, we're talking about lives and properties here. People are living in fear. Anu, listen, people are living in fear. People are living in fear.
Absolutely. I feel what the government or the politicians and the big wigs are, pretty much shying away from is that it's affecting everybody. Gone are those days when it's just the big man that, these guys come for. Right now, an average Nigerian on the street could just be walking. I was talking to someone the other day who says that he hasn't been going to work. Why? Because he gets to, supply water to some certain communities, and for the fear of bandits, him and his team would not even try it at this point to go there. Now, I was also trying to say that with the situation that happened still in Oyo State with the former Minister of Power, Sister Adebayo Adelabu, and her twin sons who got kidnapped, and interestingly they got released, or they were rescued, a couple of days after. It says a lot that sooner than later, someone who was saying that very soon these guys will start coming for you politicians, for the big wigs. So there's nobody safe at this point. How about we shelve and put aside politics and we focus on governance? Because at the end of the day, just as the Edo State governor did state when actually spiral all over social media, if you kidnap everybody, who would be there for you to govern? I'll land on this note.
That's where I probably expect the National Assembly to come in right now. If there's a need for them to amend the Constitution, that hey, instead of us to have the period culminating into next year's election, let's extend the election, give the election maybe 2 more years. Let's focus on securing life and properties. Because what the leaders are saying now is that we are not securing you now. It's our election first. That's wrong.
Evans, I'm not holding brief for the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, because from your interpretation, that's the way you see it. That's the way you fathom his own comment. Like what he said from the onset, he said, look, these insecurities are going through, or I say being put through in this country is due to opposition. And that's why he's still trying to...
What about the victims? The victims are the also opposition.
The question now is, peradventure, you have opposition behind it. You as a ruling party, you that is at the helm of affairs, can't you do something about it? What were you voted for? You were given the power, our collective patrimony, to protect us. So if you know that you've been there, being treated by opposition through insecurity, fine, then you trash it. Anyway, again, I mentioned that Nigerians are safe and secure no matter the area. Don't say terrorists are targeting soft target. Who gives a heck about being a soft or hard target? You go in there, you do your job, irrespective of opposition.
That's right. Anyway, let's leave the discussion for our discussants this morning, because we tend to have some discussants so that we look at the politicization of the security situation in the country. How did we really get here? That's the big question we're going to be focusing on this morning. We'll take a short pause now so that we join the corporate trainer in Magatan Sahai on his segment. Please stay tuned.
Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Healthy Living. What is the kidney?
The kidney is an excretory organ in the body, which is for metabolism.
Tuberculosis affects many organs in the body, but the common ones it usually affects is the lungs.
Epilepsy is a neurological problem.
Okay.
It is an injury in the brain, which causes someone to begin to convulse, to go into fits,
It is curable, but the cure is a long-term thing.
If you eat well and avoid those risk factors that will make your immunity to be down, then the risk of contracting tuberculosis will be reduced.
If you're healthy, then you're wealthy.
No Sahai is still my amiable name, and I'm so happy, delighted, always excited to come your way every Wednesday since the last 16 and a half years to add premium value to your day. You know, our series has been on different leadership styles and their impact on workplace dynamics. A simple definition of leadership is that leadership is positively influencing people towards achieving visions and towards achieving set goals. And for you to be effective in doing this as a leader, you should understand that you should be able to apply different leadership style as scenario changes, as situation changes. And that is why we are actually focusing on this topic, you know, different leadership styles and their impact on workplace dynamics. And you know, the template, the model we are using is to use a case scenario, you know, to look at it, you know, so that you can practically glean the insight and be able to apply it in what you do as a team head, as a leader, as the head of a department or the branch of an organization, or you are the one pioneering and running your own vision. Different leadership styles and their impact on workplace dynamics. Now, the leadership case scenario we are going to look at today, the template we are going to look at today, the case study, is going to show us how a leader applied the cohesive leadership style and then later transited into the coaching leadership style. And that is, you know, a characteristic or a trait that every leader must possess to be able to know that having applied a particular leadership style, when there is a need for you to switch, especially when situation changes, you should not hesitate. Shift quickly, and that is very important. And the case scenario that we are looking at today is shifting from coercive leadership style to coaching leadership style in a dental department of a state specialist hospital. That is what we are going to look at today. Remember, the coercive leadership style is that leadership style that is a command style of leadership, the one that says, do as I say, do what I tell you. And that is always very helpful when we are managing crises, when we are handling emergencies, and also when we are treating issues of serious indiscipline. Very helpful. But when you overuse the coercive leadership style, people, you know, are going to become kind of get tired as a result of you being overbearing. You are going to also see a situation where, you know, people feel micromanaged, and at the end of the day, you know, you may just lose good hands. It also, when overused, it also stifles creativity and innovation. So, but you should know that this is the right situation to apply it, and then when there is a need for you to transit or shift, make sure you don't hesitate. And the coaching leadership style is a leadership style that focuses on developing people for the future, ensuring that the capacity of your team members are built for them to be able to always handle responsibility, you know, handle issues as the organization move from point A through B to C. So the case scenario that we are looking at this morning is the shifting from coercive to coaching leadership style in the dental department of a state specialist hospital. So let me just go into the case scenario, and then we look at it together. The phase one of the case scenario, the crisis and the coercive response. The dental department of a prominent state government specialist hospital began experiencing severe spike in post-extraction infections, threatening patient safety and the hospital's reputation. An internal audit revealed that junior dental officers and clinical assistants were cutting corners, frequently skipping standard autoclave validation logs and rushing the chemical sterilization protocols for dental instruments between patients to reduce wait times. It appears, you know, they actually wanted to help to reduce the waiting time of patients, but, you know, some things were compromised. Safety protocols were ignored.
Recognizing an immediate crisis of patient safety and professional indiscipline, the newly appointed head of department stepped in with a strict coercive leadership style. There was no room for debate or consensus building. The HOD issued a direct mandate. 1, effective immediately, no clinical procedure will commence without a signed and verified sterilization log for that specific instrument tray. Then secondly, any officer or assistant found bypassing this protocol will be instantly locked out of the clinical duties and referred to the hospital's disciplinary committee for gross misconduct. The HOD strictly monitored compliance, conducting unannounced spot checks twice a day. While this rigid top-down command created temporary tension and anxiety among the staff, it achieved immediate results. And that is the use of the coercive leadership style to see that crises are immediately, arrested, and then we are able to return back to doing things the way they should be. Infection rates dropped to 0 within 3 weeks, and absolute compliance with safety protocols was restored. The coercive style functioned perfectly as corrective life-saving tool. I'll take that again. The coercive style functioned perfectly as a corrective life-saving tool. Then the phase 2 of this case scenario, remember the case scenario is focused on how the head of department of a dental department in a state specialist hospital was able to transit from a coercive leadership style then to coaching leadership style. Then we are now on the phase 2. He has applied the coercive. Let's see how he was, when he saw the need to shift to the coaching style. 2 months later, the crisis was entirely resolved. The safety protocols had become second nature to the team, and the atmosphere has shifted from chaotic to stable. However, the HOD noticed a lingering side effect. The team had become overly dependent on instructions. Junior dental officers were hesitant to make minor clinical decisions, constantly seeking approval for routine procedures out of fear of making an error. Realizing that keeping the coercive brake pedal down would destroy initiative and stifle professional growth, the HOD deliberately pivoted to the coaching leadership style. Instead of dictating terms, the HOD began scheduling weekly clinical review sessions. During these sessions, when a junior resident presented a complex case, the HOD no longer gave flat directives. No, he has now, he has saw that, okay, the system order has restored, and there is a need this time around to shift leadership style, continuing with the coercive leadership style will not help matters on the long run. So there is a need to apply the brake pedal on that and shift ground. Now he's employing the coaching leadership style. Instead, the HOD asks guiding questions. Looking at this panoramic radiograph, what are the 3 possible approaches you see here? What are the long-term risks of that specific treatment plan for this patient? They have moved into the coaching style. The HOD paired senior dental surgeons with junior officers for mentorship, coaching, allowed room for supervised autonomy during minor surgeries, and transformed errors into learning opportunities rather than disciplinary offenses. As soon as order restored, to the dental department of that specialist hospital, there was now the need to change leadership style. Now, over the next few months, the department evolved from a fearful compliance unit to a highly capable, self-assured team of professionals ready for future leadership roles. So what's the leadership lesson as I begin to conclude this morning? What are 2 leadership lessons we can glean from this in order to make sure that we know how to practically know the time to transit, to shift from a particular leadership style like coercive leadership style, which is a command style of leadership, do as I say, to a coaching leadership style, which has to do with building competency and developing people or team members for the future. 2 practical lessons. Number 1 lesson, situational fluency protects organizational culture. If the HOD had relied solely on the coercive style, the department would have eventually suffered from severe burnout, low morale, and a toxic culture of fear. Conversely, if the HOD had tried to coach the staff through the initial infection crisis, the delays caused by the discussions and feedback loops could have led to catastrophic patient outcomes. So he knew that at that time that there was crisis, coaching wasn't needed, it was coercive, but he didn't remain on that coercive. He was able to also transit and shift. The lesson here,
Leaders must view leadership styles not as identities like I'm a coaching leader, or I'm a democratic leader, or I'm a cohesive leader. You shouldn't view leadership style as identity, but as tools in a toolkit. The situation must dictate the tool. Very important. Coercive style fixes the now. Coaching style builds the tomorrow. Then the second lesson. Leadership must match the maturity and competence of the team. Leadership must match the maturity and competence of the team. Or another way of saying that is that leadership style must match the maturity and competence of the team. The appropriate leadership style changes as the team's capability changes. In the first phase, the staff exhibited a lack of discipline and a low maturity level regarding critical safety standards, which required forceful commanding presence. In the second phase, once the team became competent and compliant, their needs shifted from supervision to empowerment. From supervision to empowerment. That means from coercive to coaching. The lesson: if a leader fails to transition away from a command style once a team becomes competent, they may stop leading and start micromanaging. And micromanaging is very dangerous for a team, where people no longer have the liberty, the freedom to make even simple decisions to advance the team forward. When you keep using the command and control style, which is a coercive style, you know, the system may just nosedive, and things may not go the way as intended when it comes to expected outcome, you know, for the organization or for the team. So remember that, you know, there is no one size fits all leadership style for all situations or for different situations. A leadership style that works in a particular situation may not work when the situation changes. So you as a leader, be smart. Be very, very smart, be intelligent to know that, okay, having applied the pace-setting leadership style in this situation, it's time to move into the cohesive leadership style, or transit into the democratic style, or move into the coaching style. So this is what we are going to be doing on this series as we make progress into the future. I'm going to be coming up with different practical case scenarios on how to apply this leadership style transition. You know, we are looking at different leadership styles and their impact on workplace dynamics. So we'll be looking at how a leader applied, for example, a pace-setting leadership style. You know, pace-setting has to do with setting standards and then exemplifying the standard as a leader. And then maybe later you now move into democratic leadership style, or move into, you know, cohesive leadership style, or you know, other leadership styles as the need arises. I believe that profound value have been added to your day. I know you want to connect with me, so you can send your questions, send your inquiries to my email right there on the screen, inuagata@gmail.com, INUAGHATA, inuagata@gmail.com. Send your inquiries, send your questions, and then give you feedback, and then we're able to take things to the next level for you, especially as a team leader. I'll be seeing you next week, Wednesday. And when I return, my name will not change. It will still be the amiable Inuagata. No, Sahai. Your day is so blessed. Thank you.
Hello and welcome to the section of the newspaper review from our Lagos Network studio. I'm not going to be doing this alone this morning. I have here with me Dr. Victor Ohai. Doctor, I say welcome again.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Doctor, let's start with the Vanguard news. On the top of the Vanguard newspaper this morning is relief for ADC, other parties as appeal court stops deregistration. Doctor. Doctor, I know why I'm calling you, but let's move on before we go and take a look at this. And then at the top of the newspaper this morning, we have Senate Oshomole at Jaggers down over Natasha's 6 months suspension. And then at the bottom of the Vanguard newspaper, we have gunmen attack NIBS in Plateau, kills 2 soldiers, 1 policeman. This is getting really scary. And then we also have federal government moves to end open grazing grazing identifies 47 Gazette reserves. And then in Oyo State, insecurity, Oyo will never be another Chibok. Governor Makinde says that. And then let's just go ahead and look at the relief for ADC, other parties, as appeal court stops deregistration.
Well, there's been so much impunity and judicial rascality. I mean, the appeal court made it very clear that Justice Lifu was reckless, and in his pronouncement, he went ahead. So the level of, if you like, corruption and impunity by the judiciary, no less, is appalling. And I'm glad that it's a higher court that is saying this, not us. I mean, we may say, one say, okay, he's right, he's wrong, but a higher court has not only overturned it, at least for this, but it has rebuked the judge that took that decision. Interesting part. Former President Abdul Salam said, when they were registered, AD was right at the time, didn't meet the requirements. But you know, sometimes you apply a bit of discretion, you just say, okay, for the sake of peace, because it was from the Southwest, with what happened with MQ Abiola and all the recent problems at the time. It seemed as if the Southwest was being victimized. It's just for the sake of peace. You know, say discretion is a better part of valor. Something may be right, but may not be expedient. But you do it because if you take certain actions, there might be counter actions, lives may be lost and all that. So as a leader, you decide what you should do at that point. Use your discretion. So I'm glad for this relief, whether it is temporary or not.
I was going to ask you that. Do you think it's going to be a permanent judgment?
Well, we'll wait and see.
Okay, let's move on, Doctor. Federal government moves to end open grazing. Will this solve the problem?
Okay, so the issue of open grazing, if you notice there, they talked about government attacking NIBS in Plateau, so I want to tie the two together. And that they killed 2 soldiers and 1 policeman. A few days ago, I was at I was in Abuja at the UN headquarters, and while there, I mean the UN headquarters in Abuja, in the sprawling premises of this diplomatic community, I saw herdsmen carrying their
quite embarrassing,
arms.
Doctor.
Nobody could talk to them. I was embarrassed and ashamed for my country.
True.
So when you see, so we jokingly say that cats will have more right than human beings, because where that herdsman led those cattle to, as an individual, if I didn't have an invitation, I won't cross that gate to enter that UN premises. But nobody could talk to these people. You understand what I'm saying? So look at NIBS, the highest body, educational body in Nigeria,
yes,
policy-making body in Nigeria, has been attacked. Okay?
Yes.
2 gunmen killed, and
2 soldiers and 1 policeman.
Then to tie it into the issue of grazing, when people can move in freely with arms, you know, all citizens are equal, some are more equal than others. I don't know. Let's see what is end to open grazing will. Let's see if they will obey. Let's see who is stronger, whether the federal government or the heads.
Because I think in past governments have tried to do this.
We will see. Let's see.
Okay.
Let's see who is stronger.
Still on the Vanguard newspaper, insecurity, Oyo will never be another Chibok. This is Makinde.
Yes. I like the fact that he's making that bold statement that Oyo will not be under Chibok, which means that every soul will be accounted for. It's also an indictment on the current federal government, because the people who are in charge now were the ones criticizing them. They said, oh, if they come into power, Chibok girls will be, and as I speak to you, many of them are still in captivity.
Okay,
Doctor.
Doctor.
Not allow this to repeat itself.
Let's move on to another newspaper, but that will be from our Benin Network studio.
All right, from Benin, we have Daily First. That's the first paper we're taking from Benin this morning, where we have some major headlines. Federal government records 150 terrorism convictions in Abuja mass trial. That's the first headline there. And of course, we'll read some more. We have troops destroy terror camp in Kebbi and recovers arms. Then Abuja courts reject Yahya Bello's bid to stop 110 billion naira fraud trial. Then also we read that xenophobia, Nigerian businessman defies closure order in South Africa. That's on one of the pages of the Daily First this morning. And still on the Daily First, Senate clears customs of 62.2 billion naira under remittance allegation. Top headline there. Then also appeal court saves 5 political parties from deregistration. That's another. Then you have the rider to that ADC order secure temporary relief in a landmark judgment. Dangote slashes ex-depot petrol price to 1,175 naira per liter. Well, I just hope that that continues. Anu and Wisin. I mean, we head at the Straits of Hormuz. Any moment from now is going to be open. So I think the implication of that is that the price of petrol is going to go down. Anu and Wisin. Anu.
Well, if you take a look at the issue right that Donald Trump has been able to broker this ceasefire deal, and let's see what is going to happen on the 19th, because this is the first I'm talking about ceasefire. Just hope and pray that the deal says true. But there's a rider there. I see the screamer that says about the Court of Appeal, and of course the ADC. After this particular appeal judgment, ADC, other 5 political parties, they're going to heave a sigh of relief due to the fact that a landmark judgment was revoked. And for what Kaduri said at the beginning of the show, he talked about the comment made by the judges in the appeal court saying the first judgment was a display of judicial rascality. People have been talking about it, saying that if you go, there is some political parties that might not foster peace in our political terrain. But I believe that with this particular appeal judgment, definitely Nigerians who just hear this out relief, they'll be very, very happy about that. After all, you're going to give other political parties an avenue for them to express how good they are, how tough they are, how resilient they are, or how popular they are in the field. Because all about politics, you just cannot. There is the political parties barely how many months to the election. It doesn't really make sense. Thank God for a reversal of that judgment. Everyone now have a free day, now have a fair day. It all depends on if whoever took this matter to court in the first instance is going to push it to Supreme Court. That's what Nigerians are like waiting. We don't want to push this matter to Supreme Court. Just allow other political parties to at least test their honors, test the popularity to get to know. Because if it's going to be a one-party affair, tell me, would that be described as democracy?
Okay. All right, so let's go over to Lagos now for the next paper. Patricia and Dr. Kaine. Next paper.
Thank you, Evans. We're looking at the Guardian newspaper, and the big headline there says digital adoption leaves 300 local governments stranded, dependent on POS agents. And then at the bottom, we have Atiku mark lead opposition pushback as appeal court halts party deregistration. We also have on the page 7, we won't bow to forces of darkness, intimidation, says Adeleke. And then court dismisses Yahya Bello's jurisdiction suit in 110.4 billion naira fraud trial. Senate denies Oshomole's forgery allegation over Natasha's suspension. And on the bottom of the newspaper, we have how Shawore lost in his alleged rights violation suit against SSS. Doctor, Anyway, let me quickly take this in the page 3 where Makinde vows, I'm ready to risk my life for release of Oriri adoptees. That's Makinde. And then also at page 3 we have petrol remains 1,350 per litre in Abuja amid crashing oil prices. Dangote effects 75 naira cut. Anyway, doctor, let's quickly look at these POS agents.
Okay, put it one way. If somebody was born about 20, 30 years ago from a poor village somewhere, or from a village to a poor family somewhere in Edo, or let me not go too far, just about 3 years ago, somebody who never went to university or anything and is from a poor background, they were told, you are going to own a bank. Eh? The doctor says, you are going to own a bank. Eh? People will be coming to you to give money, you'll be paying out money and all that. You would say it's a lie. That is the magic of Nigeria today and digital banking. So to get to the point, the digital adoption, what it has said, and if you look at even the infographics that is on the Guardian page there that further exposes what it's talking about. Banks right now, in the past, it used to be my branch is bigger than yours. It was a competition of the banks. I remember 2 banks in Gambia, Nigerian banks. When I was in the Gambia, I saw them side by side. Big buildings, one was taller than the other. I was wondering, and they were sharing fence. Competition don't reach here. So what it simply means is that with what is happening now, in the past, banks would have opened branches in all these villages.
Yeah.
Okay. Like my village, there's not a single bank. But because of POS right now, you can be sure that there will never be a bank again. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what has happened right now. If you want to do other aspects of banking right now, because of POS agents, the need to have bricks and mortar banking is over now. And the only thing, the bankers that you have now are those people who native doctors saw that they will be bankers.
Okay, doctor, thank you. Let's move on. Let's look at Senate denies Oshomole's forgery allegation over Natasha's suspension. Well,
Oshomole will not talk carelessly. He stated it clearly. Some people, during committee meetings, during hearings and all that, you can sign that, you will sign the license. You understand? Whether for allowance purpose or for whatever. What the Senate now did, allegedly by Oshomole, is that they used that attendance list as saying these are the people that agreed, for the suspension
of Senator Natasha.
Because many came back there and said, I was not involved, I did not give my consent. This is the kind of impunity that goes on. And I'm glad that he has been able to stand up to the Senate president. Some may argue that he's eyeing the Senate presidency. It's neither here nor there. Truth must be told. The impunity of the current leadership, especially of the National Assembly, especially of the Senate, it leaves so much to be desired. And I'm glad that the Senate is exposing itself.
We hope we have in a very recent times exposure. We're going to be going back to our Benin studio to take the next.
All right, thank you, Patricia and Dr. Victor there. And let's see the next paper.
Now we'll go over to the New Telegraph newspaper this morning, leading with the major headline that says the registration of parties, Justice Leafield's action and affront to court hierarchy are coming out from the appeal court. It says stays execution of judgment against ADC and 4 others. The subwriter says Tinubu calls on governors to strengthen judicial infrastructure. Judiciary on trial, says Mark, as Ugun Chinyere rejects the registration verdict.
That should be the New Telegraph, right?
Right, the New Telegraph newspaper.
Yeah.
Democracy under threat, Adebayo speaking there. Parties just platforms for power grab coming out from Abba Moro on page 3, 5, 6 and 27 of the New Telegraph newspaper, you get details of this trending story. JAM releases 2026 UTME mop-up results, begins candidates ranking on page 3. G7, Trump insists Iran deal will open Strait Hormuz toll-free on page 4. 2027, defect, surrender our mandate, NDC tells candidate. I think I like this style on page 2. Well, Lagos announces temporary closure of Ido Bridge, unveils traffic diversion plans on 28th, and finally on the New Telegraph newspaper, insecurity, porous borders fueling terrorism, arms trafficking, coming out from Ribadu, says Tinubu allows troops for neutralizing bandits kingpin, rescue General Abubakar's widow, terrorism, we have recorded 150 convictions in 2 days, the federal government says on page 2, 4, and 5. Well, I think that's all we have on the New Telegraph newspaper. Want to react to any?
Oh, your abduction, that is really what caught my eyes when talking about how Risk My Life says Shane Mackinda, the governor for your state. Everybody's like catching crews. You know, I are very dark and he said he risk his life also. They should start risking their life and release his children. All these hype is getting too much.
Very dark man
risk your life.
Went ahead to say that he's ready to go with the security outfits into the forest. So I'm sure the Oyo State governor responding to him now say, I will also
risk my life. So please, very dark man, Shane Mackinda, please risk it.
Wilson, would you risk your life?
So what now? So what now? I'm not to be a security operative. They know the drill, they know the job. So they want to risk their life to release the children. Well and good. We are doing our part here, right?
All right. Now, as much as I'm interested in your issue and the security of security in Nigeria, I want us to quickly look at this this Strait of Hormuz thing. I mean, Iran and the U.S. coming to a truce on seeing how to end the war so that our lives can just go back to normal.
Why are you so particular about the Strait of Hormuz?
Yeah, listen, I'm so particular because it has dealt a toll, on people. I mean, a lot of persons, car owners cannot, effectively use their cars anymore, and you find out that the prices of commodities, services, items, and all that, have spiked up over, the months and all that. So please let the war stop, so that the Strait of Hormuz by Friday. That's the deadline now. So we just hope and pray that by Friday.
Well, let's say good news right now, according to Dangote on the
the price,
1,175 naira per liter. But how many filling stations are complying?
Okay.
They get to these old stock. We just have to sell off the old ones. I'm so sure that some person is selling 1,312. I wouldn't want to mention names right now. They are here in Benin City. If you know that the prices of fuel, talking about the pump price, has reduced, but how come these guys are still dwelling on old stock? Now, if they had old stock then, and there's an increment in probably okay, fine, everybody increase immediately, why not bring it down? At least you have to suffer some losses with Nigerians. They've been losing. If you lose a couple of thousands of naira, millions of naira just for this short period of time, it's worth it. Because I'm sick and tired of hearing Dangote say right now they've slashed the price of 1,175 naira per liter, and I'm seeing some police stations in Benin City saying it's 1,315, 1,325. I mean, who is fooling who? We are the ones bewitching ourselves. Straight almost right now, there is peace in that particular strait, because come 19, there's going to be a deal that this side. If anything to go by, definitely, I think we'll be happier. I know.
Okay. All right. So that's the situation we're expecting, and we're hoping that the Strait of Hormuz is going to be open very, very soon, so that, like I said, so that our lives will just, go back to normal. All right. So we'll take a short pause now, so that we'll begin to hit our discussion this morning from Benin. Remember, I told you that we're going to be looking at the politicization of Nigerian security situation, and of course, how we got here. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
the land of Owa is inhabited by the people with common ancestry, language, religion, economic and socio-political ties. However, irrespective of their subtitle differences in language and culture, they share common traditions. The people are known for their hospitality. Owan traced their origin to Benin Kingdom as a result for a man to find a comfortable place for living. The name Owan was derived from the largest and longest river in the area, which is known as Onyan or Onwan. It means one who makes merry in affluence.
ITV, certainly.
All right, thank you so much. The program still on your television this morning on ITV. Yes, we're going to be starting our discussion segment of this morning right here in Benin. And I told you that we're going to be looking at the politicization of the security situation in Nigeria, then trying to answer the question how we got here. Well, I'm not alone on this program. I have my co-anchor, Wisin Omasho. Yeah, Wisin, welcome one more time.
Yeah, Evans, politicization of our security architecture, security, whatever is being called, is like serious issue to really talk about this morning.
Yeah. All right, so we'll talk about the politicization of security in the country. It's all about blame game. I mean, some get to blame others, while some try to get undue credit that, hey, it is not me, it is you. So that's the situation, because we've also seen, our politicians, those that are supposed to be responsible for securing lives and properties, we've seen them playing this blame game, issue. Take, for example, a whole Senate president of, a country saying that, hey, it is political. Even we've also seen some state governors also making such a statement too. Then also the opposition parties that have been accused, we've also seen some of them, saying that, hey, this thing is not under my purview. It is because it's not under my purview, so that's why this thing happens. So you can see that politics has crept into this situation in our country. Now, the big question we ask to that is that how can we really get to this, fighting insecurity? Now, to help us digest the situation of this morning, we have a public affairs analyst all the way from the Federal Polytechnic Ado Ekiti. We have Honorable Sase Iyiheba. He's joining us virtually this morning. Honorable Sase, very good morning to you, and it's been quite some time on this program. Good morning, Honorable.
Good morning, my brother Evans. How is Benin?
It's fine, except the fact that what seems to be happening in Benin now, it has a kind of a national spread. It's also happening elsewhere. So that's why we're talking about it. I'm talking about the insecurity that stares all of us, in the face. Now, Osase Iyiheba, please help us make sense of the situation. What do you think is going on? Is this real politics or just real insecurity that we are dealing with? I mean, with the, what is going on, politicians making statements and all that. So do you think what we're experiencing now is just re-politics or re-insecurity in the situation, in the country?
Thank you very much. I can still see Wilson Obasho. Obasho, it's quite a while. Anyway,
it's been a while.
Anyway, my brother Evans, I think the problem of Nigeria is hydra-headed. Yes, you talked about politicization. You talked about re-insecurity. The truth of the matter is, first, you cannot divulge the two. The insecurity in Nigeria, as of today, we can say that has two legs to it. Initially, it was started through politics. You remember at the wake of 2015 election, while Jonathan was still in power, a certain opposition leader then, who later became the head of president of Nigeria, did say, and I quote, that come 2015, if the government power does not relinquish power, even baboons and dogs will bathe in blood. In other words, these people started recruiting some mercenaries into the Nigerian political space with the intention of taking power and making Nigeria ungovernable for the then President Jonathan. However, to their greatest dismay, Jonathan, a complete gentleman, who said, my ambition is not worth the blood of any Nigerian. Perhaps he has seen the security report. He has seen the security report. Of course, don't forget that they always have security briefing every now and then by the security agencies. And he felt that he cannot sacrifice the life of Nigeria. So, and therefore, he quietly relinquished power. But now, going forward, these same persons became the Frankenstein monster who become lords of their own and could not be curtailed by their paid masters. And so gradually we saw what we are seeing today. Of course, going down beyond that, the low economic situation in Nigeria also to a large extent affected our security network. Of course, a lot of persons today are hungry, and in the desperation to survive, you see many of them going to cut corners, including embarking on acts that we could say that will mortgage our security architecture by way of engaging in different type of kidnapping. Unfortunately, for example, I want to tell you the lack of the kidnapping that happened recently in Benin at the vegetable market. Of course, you will know that those ones are not politically inclined. Those ones are just boys who perhaps want to continue in their ostentatious life, and the economic situation is not helping them. How can kidnappers come in Lexus RS 350? That was what they came with. And you see that these ones are different set of kidnappers who are not bandits, who are not herdsmen. So it is very wrong for us to say that the kidnapping or the terror security network is as a result of politicization. No, I disagree completely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable, for that opening remark. If you take a look at the country's situation right now, you get to hear the comments credited to the Senate President saying that after this election, 2027 election, everything will come back to normal. And of course, you got to hear also Governor talking about opposition being behind this. Do you think all this we are going through do have a touch of politics in it, knowing fully well that somehow the opposition have been fingered by the ruling party?
I think that I see that as a bad workman who complains about his tools. You see, the fundamental function of government as a threat in the Nigerian Constitution is to protect life and property. If the insecurity situation in Nigeria as at that time, remember in 2012 or 2014, after the Chibok abduction, the present president of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who was the leading figure in the opposition there, came out openly to tell President Jonathan that he should resign for failing to protect Nigerians. But today, the ball is turning stable. Why are they not resigning? Why are they not coming up to say, okay, we have failed? If you know you cannot do it better, why come in? Your essence of coming to power is to remedy the perceived bad situation. But when a bad situation degenerates to a worse and worse situation, then you should throw in the towel. For my brother, Governor Okpebolo Benin, I think that his own preoccupation is just Ahmed Bola Tinubu. For crying out loud, well, how can a governor come out and say you can kidnap every one of us? You can even kidnap me. Aso Rock is not vacant. That is a careless statement from who is supposed to be a chief security officer. Remember that prior to Okpebolo's coming, there were security architectures put in place by Governor Obaseki. The Solomon Affair Security Center was doing a marvelous job. How come a man who came into power and you shut down such people? If Solomon Affair Security Network was so functioning, I tell you that kidnapping that happened in along vegetable market, the kidnappers would have been tracked, and you would know every detailed movement of these people. So you don't politicize security. You don't politicize aspects of governance. Yes, you might want to play politics, but not that. Not security, not life and property. As of today, people are being kidnapped in their homes at Iyowa, in Ekiadolo. And you call that politicization? You see them every now and then. The whole of Oktober, which opposition have the capacity to galvanize bandits into the bushes at the Oktober? When these people were caught some time ago in Uromi, you were the one that went straight to the north to go and beg and say that they were hunters. Hunters all the way from the north that could not hunt animals in the savannah, and you are coming to the rainforest of Ekoma. My brother, give that statement to the dog. It is not possible. What is happening is actually a breakdown of the security network in Nigeria and not politicization. Okay. You are seeing brigadier generals beheaded, you are seeing the retired major general be killed, and you are calling that politicization. Even if it is politicization, you up your game and go straight to them. Why not sweep both those that are politicizing and those? Of course, if you are saying this is the opposition, then you know those in the opposition that are beheading the security. Why not go after them?
All right, Honorable Sase, most of us are really not, oblivious of the historical developments of the insecurity we are fighting, as it were, and as it stands now in Nigeria. Now, you talked about former President Goodluck Jonathan. Now, I also want to bring you back to a memory. Sometime in 2009, that's when probably that the present, societal tension, social tension that we're facing now can be traced to. Now, former President Goodluck Jonathan also alluded to the fact that it was political opponents that were responsible for the insecurity, as it were then, the armed banditry and the societal social tension that we had then. As a matter of fact, former President Muhammadu Buhari was allegedly accused that he was probably responsible for grouping some, militias that, metamorphosed into some other armed banditry. So you see that politicians over time, they've always politicized, our security space. And that's the concern we are trying to bring on board this morning on this program. Now, if we have this situation, then it shows that our politicians, who are our leaders, are really not ready to fight this common monster. That's exactly what we're saying.
Well, Ernest, like I told you, in every human aspect of life, you have different shades of opinion. Yes, when in my opening statement, I said at the initial stage, there was some element of politicization. Don't forget that at the wake of Boko Haram, the man, somebody was alleged to have financed Boko Haram to help them gain power in Borno State. I don't want to mention it. And when the security operatives came up to catch some of them, one of the key pins of that Boko Haram was escaped and was rearrested in a governor's lodge. You are a journalist. You have the historical facts. So you cannot completely
make excuses for your responsibility.
Now, if you take a look at our history when
make excuses for your responsibility.
Now, if you take a look at our history when all these things started, you get to realize that during the time of President Goodluck Jonathan, he did not in any way, it may serve me right, accuse opposition. He always said that these people are in his cabinet. You consider that's a man taking responsibility. He said they are in his own cabinet. He never said whether it's XYZ party that is involved in this, whether it's ZP, whatever it's being called. He said they are in my cabinet. That's why I said at the beginning of the show that, look, this might have gone beyond politics. Now, let's take a look at our former president, Muhammadu Buhari, God rest his soul. You get to realize, some people say that he made a series of mistakes by opening the borders to other African citizens to come to Nigeria. They said that was the reason why we are having this influx of these marauders in our country. If you go to the page of newspaper, you get to see the conflict, so to speak, and ascribe to a former member or an APC member saying that way back, it was alleged that they invited these guys to take part from the ruling party. None of the job is done, they're refusing to go. So see the complexity of all this. A few weeks ago, you get to hear that over 700 repentant Boko Haram, that they reintegrated into the society. So if you take a look at all this situation, where are we really headed? The question is, how did we get here? These are the factors that really put Nigeria in a particular story, talk about security, because it's like really there's politics, there's religion, there is tribalism, in all of this, it's really so much complex. Now take a look at the military. They cried out about that, look, before they go for an operation, the enemies, they knew that they were coming. Who leaked that information? You get to hear, all right, since you guys have repented, please infuse them into security architecture. Where are we today? You see, it's all complex, too complex, like, you know, a web, and untangling this web is going to take a while. It is not about opposition. Okay. It is beginning to envelop us politically, it's beginning to envelop us spiritually, it's beginning to envelop Nigerians physically, morally, psychologically. The Nigerians are afraid. They are angry. Let's look for who to really blame.
Okay, let's get Honorable Sase into the show back now. Now, Honorable, I think you're back right there now. Okay. Yes. All right, so you were trying to establish, you know, the way some of our previous politicians have reacted to the security situation in the country. And you were trying to make a case for Goodluck, former President Goodluck Jonathan. So can you continue?
Well, thank you. Let me take it from where Mr. Obasha started. Obasha have actually given a historical perspective. Both telling you that it is religious inclined, it is politically inclined, and it is ethnically inclined. All this put together, but the truth, the crux of the matter is, if you know these people are there, what do you do about it? That is where I'm holding government responsible. Remember that before the 2015 election, Jonathan took the bull by the horn by even going into collaboration with neighboring West African countries by forming a joint task force on terrorism. Of course, they were able to push them to the aspect of Borno. But today, when late President Buhari came, his soul recipes, like you have said, Obasha, he actually tried to exercise this issue by saying that Nigeria, of course, you remember the statement accredited to one of the foremost political governors then, who said Nigeria is the hope of all Fulanis in West Africa. And so they brought them in. You also remember the statement accredited to El-Rufai, how he said he took money to go and settle these bandits and said that enough is enough. But they said, no, you cannot bring us here and abandon us. Then, of course, there is also another dimension to it. The crave for Nigerian mineral, the killings in the Middle Belt and part of the North, it's been, you cannot completely rule out external factors. Sack a whole community, all in the name to go into illegal mining. These are all aspects that have accumulated into our integrated security network. So, as a responsible government, what are you doing to tackle this? How are you curtailing illegal mining? How are you curtailing extension of the security network, who have been infiltrated into the military? How can a chief of army staff say that kidnappers or bandits are likely to prodigal sons who have gone astray, and therefore we should welcome them back? Of course, if you are doing an analogy to the prodigal son, the father of the prodigal son in the Bible received the boy back and integrated him into his family. But there was a clause He said, but you no longer have an inheritance. But in Nigeria, you are rehabilitating the prodigal son, also giving you an inheritance by putting me to the army, by giving them, paying them, sending them to bandits, slaughtering innocent people, people that have killed, and you are saying that you are integrating them. What happens to the life of those? What happens to the family of those who have been slaughtered in cold blood? So that is where governance must not be caged. If you are ready for governance, be ready for governance. So that is my position. It is not enough for you to just say oppositions are encouraging kidnapping and banditry. What are you doing to curtail both the opposition and their plans? You have the military architecture. These people, as of today, these people are not in charge of our airspace. Where are the Tucano jets? Somebody for a minister of defense will say that bombs cannot penetrate Sambisa forest. Is that not crazy? Is that not mediocrity? So, if you are talking about politicization, perhaps it is the government that is not only politicizing the security network.
All right, now let me take it up from the point where you asked the question, "What are you doing?" I hope that that was being generalistic. You were directing that point to leaders, and that falls back to what we're saying. Now, Sheyi Makinde of Oyo State has said that, hey, it is not in my purview. I'm not in charge of the security agents in my state. That is why what probably happened in Oyo State happened. So you see that our leaders over time, they've always played this blame game. Remember, we started by saying that the politicization of security situation in Nigeria today, lies on the fact that some take credit, while some take the blame game. So if we have the situation, this situation now, the question we now ask, is it a case of the fact that some of our leaders are not willing or they are not capable? Even let's go back to the era of Goodluck Jonathan as a president, just like what my colleague said here, that Goodluck Jonathan, owned up that, hey, these guys are within my cabinet. Whereas Goodluck Jonathan was the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria then. The commander-in-chief of armed forces, that's the highest epitome of security in the country. So has it always been a case of our leaders not being able or not willing to do what they're supposed to do? That's what we're saying.
Yes, I agree with you, Evans. The truth of the matter is the political will is not there among the people. See, my brother, take it or leave it. I am not a fan of Dr. Oshomole. But sometimes there are some fundamental questions Oshomole will ask at the floor of the Senate. He has asked, what is happening to the budget? How are they utilizing it? Oshomole has come out to the floor of the Senate to say that we have seen military generals by building universities. They have attained the funds made for security. Recently, we also saw asking fundamental questions at the floor of the Senate. I said that, look, who takes charge? Who takes responsibility? Somebody gave directive that military operatives stationed at the school should leave, and immediately they left, students were kidnapped. What did they do? What occurred? Please, during Jonathan, we saw efforts. Questions were asked. Of course, don't forget about the popular there is God statement attributed to President Goodluck Jonathan there. Efforts were made. Are you not aware that even when the government was trying to even rescue the Chibok, we had a security intel from America that said that they wanted to gas the kidnappers and rescue the girls. But unfortunately, before they could hide their plan, they saw the kidnappers wearing gas masks who revealed the security information. So you find out that it is not just the politicians alone. Even within the military, there are collaborators. And that was why Google said, they are in my cabinet. They are in my cabinet. You hear military officers say, we don't have a directive to attack. We don't have a directive to move. So it is a complex situation, my brother.
Okay, so we'll quickly take a short break now. Don't forget the program still this morning on ITV. We'll be right back.
ITV, certainly the best.
Thank you so much. The program still on your television, this one on ITV. Now, listen, I know you are so loaded. You want to ask my boss, I say you have, but let me quickly, say something. I think at this juncture, leaders need to know that leaders are problem solvers. They are not excuse givers. I mean, we've always had this problem over time. Even the good Lord Jonathan we talked about. Remember, that was when we had a wife that owned up, hey, there is God, though, there is God,
Anyway, let's get straight down to Honorable. Honorable, now you get to realize that what Evans really talked about leadership being problem solvers. During the time of our President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, you heard him complain. The only president then that didn't complain was former President Olusegun Obasanjo. He went head on. During the time of our late President Muhammadu Buhari, God rest his soul, he opened the channel, so to speak, for these guys to come and say we are one Nigeria. And now we have our beloved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and you get to hear some members of the ruling class APC pointing accusing fingers at the opposition. Does that mean that we lack leaders that are capable of really taking the bull by the horn when you talk about the fight against insurgency, the fight against banditry, the fight against kidnapping? Is that where we are right now as a nation?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, very loud and clear. We can hear you.
Okay, thank you, Marshall, for that statement. You see, when you aspire to become president, you are indirectly telling us that you have the capacity to take on the difficulties and things that are wrong with the society. But unfortunately, when many of us come to power, politics take over their game. You know, I want to make a statement to, I can't remember her name now. There's one of these lady, APC women leader, who came on air to say that at the beginning of this, at the wake of this Tinubu's administration, she asked, Mr. President, what do you have for us in the north? She said she booked a flight, flew to London, and had a discussion with the president, where the president wholeheartedly come out and said that, my dear, I am not ready to fight insecurity. If I do, they will kill me. So it simply means that right from offset ab initio, the man does not have the attempt to fight the insecurity with her. So you find out that who actually is in charge of our security architecture? If the commander-in-chief says, I cannot fight insecurity, they will kill me, who is in charge? These are fundamental questions we must ask ourselves. If President Goodluck Jonathan came out to say, these people are in my cabinet, which means he also know that his life was in danger. Then it means that God for us or everyone for himself, that is what we are living in Nigeria. So it is a complex situation. For us to be able to move forward, like you have said, how do we get here? We must, first of all, put aside the ethnic sentiment, religious sentiment. Yes, of course, don't fail to realize that there are different theorists who are also believing that the insecurity nature in Nigeria is not far from the fact that there are attempts to Islamize the nation. So if you look at this conspiracy theory, you will say to an extent they are right. If you look at those who are also saying that the banditry is an attempt to perhaps make government ungovernable, sometimes you will be tempted to say, okay, but the truth of the matter is the boss stops on the table of the commander-in-chief. So what is it doing? What are the military operatives doing? Now, if you know that of course you know that the sovereignty of Nigeria have been compromised. So if you know that you cannot do this, why not collaborate with neighboring countries? What is wrong with, at least, there was a time we had a Commonwealth who helped to fight the security breakdown in Liberia and even in Sierra Leone. Why not form a joint anti-terrorism body with neighboring Sahel nations? And from our ends, we attack these people headlong. That's their position.
Before we draw the curtain, when you talk about partnering with other nations, it's always kind of been a one step forward, three steps backward. Recently, we saw the United States of America, coming into our space. I mean, giving some strikes in Sokoto State and all that. Now, all this foreign help and foreign collaboration seems not to be yielding the right result. So, what do you think is going on?
My brother, the truth of the matter is, I don't really believe in America. Boots on ground have actually not helped the situation. Yes, they can, if your government is not ready to collaborate fully with America. Of course, don't fail to realize that the Western powers have their interests. They have they have their interests. And if your interest is not meeting up with their interests, there's nothing they can do. But they can share information with the intelligence report with you. But if they share intelligence report and the intelligence report is compromised, what do you think they will do? Yes, in quite some time they have come. They have done one or two bombing, terminated some MISWAP and ISIS kingpins. But the truth of the matter is, if you don't have weapons or don't have equipment, you have gone to Western world to procure some. The ones you have procured, how effective have you used them? The truth of the matter is the insecurity is within West African region. Those, of course, Chad is taking them headlong. Burkina Faso is taking them headlong. Mali is taking them headlong. If Nigeria can collaborate with these neighboring countries, form a joint security network, I think we will have a headway out of this influx. Of course, secure your borders. Then turn the economy around. Like I told you in my initial statement, that all the insecurity is not actually as a result of banditry alone. There are also non-state actors who, due to bad economy or other things, that want to survive, are also gone into this act of kidnapping or otherwise. Not all kidnapping cases are bandits. Not all kidnapping cases are politically inclined. There are a lot of criminal elements around the area, the corridor of power. But because these people, sometimes you use these people to get power, you cannot attack them headlong. They know them. For example, in your state, in our state, because I'm not resident there now, I can say yours. There's no way the governor will tell us that he does not have security intel on daily basis. I was in government. Security operatives give information to CEOs on daily basis. So how are you annexing them? Yes, I agree that, like Makinde said, that you by becoming chief security officer, you don't have power to give directive to the police. But when you want to use the police to hold down opposition, they will go ahead and carry out your this thing. What are you doing with your security for? What happened to the security network put in place by your predecessor? How have you been able to strengthen it? What happened to the security operatives the security system that was built by Obaseki. Like I said, that's what I security center. Play the fundamental role in securing other people behind. What are you doing with it? If you don't have any business with government, don't come to government. Well, God, we are coming to another election, the week of another election, 2027. If the government in power will allow position to try, I know that Nigerians are fed up with this kind of government. That's my position, my brother.
Honorable Sase Yehewa, we want to say a very big thank you for joining us this morning, all the way from Federal Polytechnic at Ado-Ekiti, for sparing your time with us on the program. So we hope when we invite you about time, you'll join us on this program.
It was my delight, my brother.
Okay. All right, so Winston, you see that it's almost a case of, our leaders are raising to the occasion, to the responsibility for them to know that, hey, leadership is all about solving problems. It's not making run for excuses.
Evans, in this situation, like a tangled web, all right? We witness or seen on the news, social media, you just name it. APC chieftain been kidnapped, died in captivity. PDP chieftain been kidnapped, died in captivity. Retired general, a Muslim from the north, died in captivity. General also executed for the world to see. From the north, still a Muslim, died in captivity. Churches too being destroyed, pastors kidnapped and killed. This has gone beyond politics. It's just got to stop. So if you're there harboring them, saying it's because of political party A, political party B, you're harboring them, God forbid it gets to your turn. I wonder how you are going to react. Well, Evans, we keep watching.
Anyway, we just hope and pray that God will come to our rescue, come to our aid, and give us the ability to wrestle the situation. We'll join Joseph Kadiri now in Abuja, and in the next couple of minutes he's going to be looking at build up to 2027 election, a strange counter court order on the registration of political parties in the country. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. It is here this morning on ITV, and from the Abuja Network Studios, we will be looking at the 2027 build-up. Of course, there are so many political parties and many candidates like never before. But what is the issue now with the various others of the lower and higher? And to look at this, I have with me two gentlemen who will be speaking on this issue via Zoom. And of course, Bishop Obiajulu Obi, the Publicity Secretary of ADC, of course, from Delta State, is already online. A very good morning to you.
Good morning to everyone. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I can barely hear you. Good morning, Bishop Obi.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. So how is Delta State this morning?
Delta State is very well.
Okay, quickly, let's get your opening remark concerning what we saw in Monday when the Federal High Court Judge Peter Lifu deregistered 5 political parties with ADC inclusive. And just yesterday we saw that the Court of Appeal said no. He acted, like someone who is not on the bench, and what he displayed was judicial rascality. And he has no business on the bench if he cannot respect the order of the higher court, which is the Court of Appeal. So let's get your remarks.
One thing I want to thank God for is the fact that Nigeria right now has begun to, play by the rules of the law. You know, before now, people have lost confidence in the judiciary system. And I will say this without missing words, that what happened is that there are many people who are in that judicial system who happens to be the ones who are destroying the system. You know, when there is one bad egg, every other egg is assumed to be bad. Now, from the judgment that was passed by Justice Judge Lifu, you will understand that there is a bias in what he is doing. Because if there is a stay of execution, if they have been told that they should not go further with all this, then why do it? If there is no ulterior motive behind the scene or somebody that is sponsoring you, because we the Nigerian citizens today are crying out and saying that the judicial system has been bought over by the ruling party, and this only can, you know, spark more reactions, negative reactions from the people when they see that such a thing is happening. Besides, the constitution or the law has given room, or rather, for people to know that if you do not meet certain criteria, then the party will be deregistered. But ADC does not fall in that position. And many of these parties that were pinpointed did not fall in this position. So why go ahead to say that they should be deregistered? I want to also thank God for INEC, because INEC also, the umpire of the elections in Nigeria, have been able to prove that they know the law. They have proven to Nigerians that they know their honors, and they have been able to show that whatever has been said by the judgment from the High Court is null and void. So for now, everybody's eyes is on the judiciary. I want to say this, that the appeal court has really done wonders, you know, in reacting fast and doing the needful to give confidence again to the Nigerian people. Thank you.
Okay, well said. You know that that ruling of the Court of Appeal is just a stay of execution of that order to INEC to register the political parties. The matter will still be on the 22nd of June. It will continue, and we do not know how that will turn out, whether or not the Court of Appeal will now say that judgment be sustained or not. But however, it's a beautiful thing that those who belong to all those political parties that have filled in candidates can go about in their own way, not directly now, to cajole the people to believe in them. Okay, now we also have with us the former IPAC chairman, who is now a chieftain of the MD, Comrade Peter. Very good morning to you.
Good morning to you too.
Yeah, so I'll say congratulations for changing the ticket of the NDC to run for seat in your zone. But the issue at hand has to do with IPAC, and yesterday IPAC at the Court of Appeal in solidarity to 5 of the parties that were asked to be deregistered. So you feel about and of course the counter order?
For me, first of all, the judgment by Peter Lifu is cannot be defined with any other means by just clearly saying that it is a brazen judicial rascality. The hostility that he brought to bear on our democracy and our multi-party democratic system should not be sustained. And if we have a system that works and the NJC that is active and proactive, there's a committee set up to investigate the reason why we take such action. The mind, integrity, and the sanctity of our constitutional norms. So these are the truth, and the truth is not perfect. It's right, because if you allow such persons to continue to go free after committing such level of brazen hostility against our constitutional democracy, you embolden him. So what we need to do is that this is a welcome development that the the appeal court has stayed execution because the INEC too, well, at least we have an SCN, the professor of law at the end of INEC. Now, when we had Yakubu was very, very hostile to democracy. Even when the Court of Appeal, even when the Federal High Court gave a petition for parties not to register them, even when the Court of Appeal said the registration of political party is inimical to the ground upon which our democracy is established, he still went ahead to sustain. So, but today we have a chairman of the commission who himself even went to court to ask for a stay of execution. So it is impressive to see such a thing in my lifetime, having been part of the former chairman of the Interparty Council when we started the struggle against the registration of political party. Let me tell you one thing very clearly. Section 40 of the political party of the Constitution is very clear that every Nigerian shall have a right to belong to a trade union, an association, or a political party that protects his interest. If you now bring such level of the registration into play, it already crashed the interest of Nigerian political party to belong to party GGG, party DDD, whatever the party are. No, political party existence does not cost the federal government anything. Today, they have done all kind of dictatorial law to try to on political participation and inclusivity by making sure those who register political party pay 15 million. That is not even my problem. When people can gather to pay such money, there's no need for you to register any political party, because if you look at how our party functions, government does not spend 1 naira on political party. It is the people who manage their political party that spends the money. There's no financing that they has been in existence. Party have not been there participating to show its own interest. Will it be available for people to use in 2027? So you don't register parties endemic. It's like of a democratic or any democratic. It is only done by people who have the tendencies to go ahead to the register party. You go to South Africa, you have more than 200 parties. In America, that you see 2 parties, the only thing that they do differently is that they do what they call access to ballot. At every level you have certain parties, certain kind of election you can participate in. For the federal election, like the presidency, there's a certain percentage you have local election for you to be on the ballot. So these are the kind of things you can do. But to say parties shall not exist, to say the freedom for people to associate should not be so restrictive to a point of registration, it is undemocratic and should be condemned by all actors.
Comrade, I think that there's a section of the guide, the electoral act, that says if a party fails to secure 25% of the vote or fails to win at least a position, yes, that party shall cease to exist.
That is section 225A. Section 225A should not have a place in our constitution. The people who made section 225A, today we need to call them out. It was done while David Mark was Senate President. We fought against him. We wrote to him. Ekuremadu was the chairman of the Constitutional Review Committee. These are the people who made section 225A. That's why we are telling you, when you make law to try to sustain illegality, to try to make something not to work for the good of our community collectively, you might be at the long end of the receiving end of it one day. Today, in 2022, when party was registered, I can tell you, if Nigerian journalists do due diligence, you will see a statement that was made by Atiku Abubakar. Now, party registration is a welcome development, and because they have to weed out parties. I've told leaders several times, since my consistency in pushing for multiplicity of political party platforms, it's clear that you cannot push for laws that will demarcate our democracy, law that will reduce activity, law that will promote restrictive political participation, and then expect that you will be called a Democrat. I am a witness to some of this struggle. I'm a victim of some of these statements made by these leaders. I'm a victim of some of the draconian policies established by the leaders who are today at the long receiving end. But it will not deter me to continue to push that the restriction of political parties should not be encouraged, not be accepted, and should be discouraged, because people like us became national chairman of political parties. We became national chairman of Inter-Party Advisory Council and national secretary of the IPAC because there were inclusivity, because there were opportunity for any man to belong to a political party of his choice. Today, if you allow it to become something that will be controlled by the bourgeoisie, that will be controlled by the elite, then the child of the man will not have a space to follow a political party of his choice and grow to the highest level of leading a political party. Look at what they do today, how they arrange for leadership of parties. So I am on the opinion that whatever we do, we must continue to sustain multi-party democracy. And I must, the INEC chairman, the current INEC chairman that has not taken the part of the undemocratic stand of the previous chairman, Mahmoud, who I sat with in the office of the chairman and deliberated that jeopardy registration should not be encouraged, and he was so vehement and went ahead to do it. So for us, this is a welcome development, and our judiciary must continue to sustain this to be able to encourage participation by Nigeria.
Okay, so let's get back to Bishop Obi. Bishop, if you are hearing me, I just want to get your opinion concerning those that actually went to court. They said they are forum of former legislators. They are the ones who actually went to court and said this group of parties, they failed to secure seat in the National Assembly, and they didn't even get up to 25% of the vote in the last election, and so they should be deregistered. So I ask you, do you think they have the locals to go to court and ask the court to deregister political parties?
Yeah, first and foremost, I want to say that if it has become the law, then it is practical to execute the law. Because before making the law, it went through rigorous, and those scrutiny actually made it to be how will I put it? Those scrutiny made it perfect. Taking out what they feel is wrong and keeping the right things, and then it was passed into the constitution and becomes a law in the country. Now, if it's a law in the country, it is also good that law be sustained. But however, when it becomes political witch hunting, that is where a problem comes in. Because when people see that they want to make Nigeria a one-party system, where other parties who don't have the right to contest or be on the ballot, and for that they want to use it to witch hunt smaller parties, then it is very, very wrong. From the 25% vote that they are asking for, or a seat, one seat in the National Assembly, or one seat elected office, it is not a criteria, if you ask me, for you to deregister anybody, because everybody has a right to vote. Everybody has a right to association. Yes, freedom of association, or freedom to belong to a political party. So if I have a right to belong to a certain party or an association, then I should not be restricted, as long as I am falling under the ambit of the law, as long as I am not doing the wrong thing. So if a former group of legislators who want to be relevant think that going to court and dragging political parties will make them relevant, then they have other things coming up for them. Because Nigeria today, the people today have suffered enough, and the people are ready to make a change, no matter what it will cost them. People's lives are in danger. Instead of talking about insecurity, instead of talking about the hunger in the land, we are looking for parties that we are going to disenfranchise. We are looking for people, the common people, that will make sure that they will not come out. How do we make a change in Nigeria? How do we create a positive change in Nigeria? How do we remove the bad government? How do we end corruption? If they are not given the chance, tomorrow people will cry about and saying that why are people revolting? Why are people fighting? Why are people going about protesting? This is one of the things that leads to such things. Because if you don't give them the chance to prove themselves, and then you are creating chaos on that ground. Now, if those people go to the court and drag these political parties to be deregistered, it means that they do not want peace in Nigeria. To say this online, that the people who are protesting, they are not people who are violent people. No, they are not violent people, but they are people who are looking for an opportunity for Nigeria to be a better place, and we must give it to them. If this is a democratic country, then we must give the people the right to vote. You must give the people the right to association. You must give the people the right to belong to any political party that they want to belong to. Even if it's a one-man political party, why? A one-man political party can make it change. It can be the change for everybody.
Time is flying fast. Let me take this last question from you, Bishop Obi. Our time is flying fast, but let me just take one more question from you, and it is that at this time when the election is just by the corner, 16th January is more or less 6 months from now. Why do you think this kind of suit should be instituted?
If you ask me on the lifetime mode, I would say that this scheme has proved that there was somebody that was actually targeted in the coalition at first. Yes, many of us were thinking about our brother from the east, that he was the target on this, on all everything they have been doing. But from this, it has been proven that the target is no other person but Atiku Abubakar, and they don't want him to be on the ballot. So I want to say this: within this period, every Nigerian should be given the chance to prove themselves on the ballot. Whether you are good, whether you are bad, whether you are evil, let the masses be there to cast their vote and say this is the person we want, and that should be the position of every Nigerian.
Okay, thank you. Let me go to Comrade Peter now. Hello, Comrade.
And before Peter left, this target was Peter.
Yeah. You know the issue now.
Whether he left or not, in fact, this judgment would have still come, because and these are the things that Peter, as a man with so much vision, and decided that instead of him to be trapped in the place that this target has been put, I'm telling you that this is just a testing the mark. They are still going to come after him in the end. But because he's determined to be able to contest the election and rescue Nigeria from the grip of those who have mismanaged our public resources, we are going to stand by him, continue to defend the sanctity of the governance system that we have established. For us, this Section 225A, the only thing the court will do is to expunge it from the Constitution as a provision that is conflicting with other provisions of the Constitution. It should be expunged because it does not have a place in our democracy. Nigeria is the only place where political parties are deregistered, apart from the dictator who deregister and regulate political parties. Nigeria is the only democracy in the world that encourage and promote the registration of political participation. And if we must do well, we must expunge it from the Constitution. And that is what the only thing I'm expected from our judiciary to do. And going forward, democracy you see, and the way our political party were established, if you read Section 221 to 2210, there's no small party, there's no big party. The only reason why you run to the other parties is because they use state resources to promote their affairs. The visibility they get is as a result of public resources. The visibility they get over the other parties is as a result of dipping into public funds to use to promote political affairs. If you give more parties, just as it happened in '93, SDP and RUC, if you give them level playing field and you give them equal chance to promote themselves, without people having access to public funding and people, you will see who the people will follow. They will follow people who have masses interest, who have decided to work for the interest of the people. So it is clear that what we should do now is to say that Section 225A, it is a draconian law that have no a place in our democracy.
Okay, let me quickly ask you this. I've asked Bishop Obi, but let me get your response to it. Those that made the law are, of course, legislators, and they have put themselves together as forum of former legislators. They are the ones that actually went to court to say there is an aspect of the law that has not been given effect to, and the court need to, of course, interpret it and give life to it, and that's why they went to court. So do you think they do not have the locals to go to court and say, look, there's an aspect that you need to give us directive on?
Locals they have no local standing. They are acting on behalf of government in power. We have seen obviously that they have endorsed the President Mahmoud Bola Ahmed. We have seen their group endorsing. We see that the chief of staff is a member of that same group. He has spoken in that same platform, on that same platform. So there's no way they can hide behind one finger and expect that members of that platform of the party. So what is making them having over interest that parties no longer exist. Parties are created by constitution, just as INEC is a creation of the constitution, and they have a right to self-succession. That is what political party is. Whether everybody in the NDC retire today, everybody party will still exist because it's an entity, and political party is not the property of an individual. When association comes together in putting the memorandum and understanding of association together to register a political party, the day that political party becomes registered, it becomes an entity. It becomes a person on its own that can exist, that can function, even if one of the members leave, even if it's remaining one member. So political party should be given that opportunity to have time to grow. I've told you about Ralph Nwosu, my friend. I've been close to him for over 20 years. He's my personal friend, and I can tell you why he has struggled with that party. Imagine if it was registered prematurely. Will you be hearing the name of ADC today? So it is about giving parties time to grow. Party does not cost Nigerian any money. The people who are stealing our resources should be the one to be cut off, should be reduced from. Party does not cost Nigeria 1 penny. So the kind of money that party generate for country is so enormous. As we speak today, every political party headquarters that exists has a secretary, has a PA. They are being paid. And anytime you register, you throw people into unemployment. You throw these people's interest away. The ability, the right for people to express themselves is thrown away. Can there be democracy without choice? Can there be democracy without inclusivity? Can there be democracy without level playing field? These are the reasons we are asking that this section 225A contradicts the purpose of which democracy is being practiced and should be expunged and removed and suspended from the constitution by the court. That is the only way we can grow. That is the only way we can hold people in power accountable. A party can just be there for speaking the truth. A party can just be there promoting green environment. A party can just be there promoting.
Thank you, comrade. Thank you, comrade. You are firing from both cylinders. Thank you so much for your time with us on the program this morning. And of course, Bishop Obiazulu, thank you so much for your time with us on the program. We hope that when we call you next, you avail us the opportunity to air your opinion. Thank you so much. And now we move to Lagos Network Studios for continuation of the program this morning on ITV.
Welcome back. Thank you, Joseph. And this is a continuation of This Morning on ITV from our Lagos Network studio. I'm Patricia Uremu-Gabriels. Anyway, this morning, of course, as usual, in the house, I have my senior co-host, my senior co-anchor, Dr. Victor Ohai. Doctor, good morning again.
Morning. Permit me to apologize to viewers that we're starting 15 minutes later than the advertised time that Lagos should normally start, which is 8:45. But nevertheless, we'll try and do what we have to do in the 30 minutes left.
We apologize for that. Anyway, this morning we will be looking at the court's ruling, INEC and ADC party's survival. And to do this with us in the studio is Dr. Emmanuel Ochei. Dr. Emmanuel Ochei is the ADC Vice Chairperson, Lagos West. He made a correction. He said the first Vice Chairman, Lagos West. You're welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, viewers.
I'm going to let Doctor to start the floor.
Okay, so they say 24 hours is a very long time in politics. We just saw that demonstrated. Within 24 hours, a judgment was given. The judgment was given within 24 hours. It was overturned, and it was like destinies transformed or whatever. And then we heard what the appeal court said about Justice Lifu. The first thing I want to ask is, what hit you? What was the situation like within ADC when this announcement came? How did all of you feel? How did you take the news? The very first one.
Mm-hmm. Good morning, Dr. Victor. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, ADC members in Lagos West, and good morning, Nigerians. My name again is Dr. Emmanuel Ochie, the Lagos State ADC First Vice Chairman, Lagos West Notarial District, and I'm in charge of Lagos West 10 local governments. So this topic this morning is very apt. INEC, survivor of ADC and court ruling. Wow. Very, 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 very apt. So before I dive into your questions, I've got these 3 messages to tell ADC members.
No. We do not allow any sort of advert. This is not a platform for addressing your members. You can do that through your WhatsApp platform or any other one. But I think what our focus here is to discuss this matter in relation to its implication for our body politic. So please, would appreciate if you respect that, because otherwise it becomes advert and we send you a bill.
We send ADC.
Right. No, seriously.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you, viewers. INEC has ruled.
Yes.
And the judiciary has also noted that ADC has structures and leadership. Therefore, on that note, all voters in Nigerians are encouraged to support Nigerians and to support political parties to make and get a better president. Understanding that, 1, INEC should, first of all, respect laws, democracies, and also understand that the wish of the masses and the voice of the masses is what the nations need to triumph. And thirdly, I want also to say that when the news comes, it is a cheering news to Nigerians. Because one thing you have to understand is this. As a politician, you have been made to absorb every type of information, both positive and negative. And because we have a very strong structures, because we have a solid candidates, we are aware that will come out better, because court cases makes us better and give us very first support for governance in Nigeria.
But this has not ended, because this is just the appeal court.
He has not even, sorry, you have never answered my question. What was the initial reaction when this news came? You can say that very briefly.
To us.
Where were you when you heard the news, and how did it hit you? I wanted to know.
The first news.
Yeah, the initial reaction.
The initial.
When you called yourselves, what did you say to yourself? What was the initial reaction?
The initial reaction was, wow, what is happening?
Wow,
what is happening?
Okay.
The opposition has hit again.
Okay.
So what will be our reaction?
The ruling party or the opposition?
The ruling party has hit again. So what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this? Because we know that this is all politics. So when they hit, you hit back.
So what did you agree? What
was the agreement to hit back?
The agreement to hit back is not by fighting, is to use legal means, normal legal means to hit back. Because already when you look at the cases, you understand that the cases on the 22nd of May 2026, there was a stay of execution over that matter. And June 5 of this month was supposed to be a judgment for the hearing. But there was no judgment because there has been a stay of execution. So for the Justice Peter Ifuru to come and give the judgment against the appeal court is unfair. It's against the rule of law. So what are we going to do? We are going to use the instrument of justice, the legal means, to fight back, not by fighting, but we are going to use legal means. And that is why you see what happened yesterday. It was reversed.
Okay, so you people have started the fight.
It's not a fight. We are using legal means.
That's what I mean. You said legal means to fight back. Did you start
peacefully? No, we started.
Yeah.
We are following legal means
When you say legal battle, because some of you are carrying bombs.
Yes, sir.
So we are asking now,
Yes.
did you start the legal appeal before this that judgment came on the 24 hours?
Of course, the legal appeal was not started yesterday. It has been there because the court have ruled on 22nd of May to stay execution against the registration of ADC until further notice. Until further notice, that is October 27. They are going to hear the case. So it was a wahoo to wake up and just hear that ADC and 4 other political parties has been deregistered against the court ruling. So having maneuvered the appeal court, which are not supposed to be in the hierarchy of the judiciary. So when an appeal court has given a judgment, a lower court are not supposed to maneuver it when they are still a state of execution over that case.
Okay.
So it was not handled properly. And then INEC themselves realized that is going to hold them, and they come out openly and said such things are not necessary. Because we recall that INEC themselves on May 25th has come out to say that ADC has not failed over the accusations that the section 225 of the Nigeria Constitution that they do not have 25% or an elective positions. And because the pressure groups in Nigeria has come, association of former or old lawmakers wrote a petition and said that social parties should be deregistered. So INEC came up and said that pressure groups and different people do not have right to say that a political party should be deregistered. So INEC themselves are trying to be democratic and trying to do the rightful thing. So whenever the wrong information, wherever it may come from, that is why I said that we are solving it through democracy and through legal channels.
Doctor,
so, yeah.
You might have some questions for him.
So, you have not used the word witch hunting, but I'm assuming that you feel that because, as you were alluded to the fact that it looks like you are being victimized by the ruling party. Yes, there was a time it seemed like ADC was a threat when those 9 NDC were part of ADC. Do you still think ADC has what it takes to win the next election, to the extent that the ruling party will be afraid, to the extent that they will do everything necessary to make sure that you are not on the ballot?
Thank you so much, Doctor. Every political party is a movement, and there is dissensions in every growing political parties. And the ADC is not an exception. So ADC has gone through courts, it's made them strong. ADC themselves, as an institution, is above any individual. So those people that remain have started to build structures. And the structures we are building is giving us the go-ahead to win the 2007 elections confidently. So we are on the course. There's no cause for alarm.
Okay.
We are winning.
Dr. Che, you just told Doctor that there's no cause for alarm. ADC is winning.
Sure.
But we also know that in the ADC party, there are fractions there. How do you handle that?
Exactly.
Thank you so much. As I always said, factions is a normal thing. Dissensions is a normal thing in every party. So ADC is bigger than any faction because every people must have their own personal opinions. What is important is for those ones that remains to begin to work together, to begin to form structures in their local governments, in their wards. That's what the voters are looking for. The voters are looking for people that will form structures. that will have their problems at heart, and that is what ADC is doing to give Nigeria a better governance. As you can see, 2007
do you not think that NDC has weakened the very base of ADC?
I have not seen that. I have not come to realize anything about NDC. I think that NDC is just on paper. They're not on ground.
I don't understand.
Yes, NDC is on paper. I'm just hearing it for the first time.
Huh?
Yes, I'm just hearing it for the first time. NDC. So how can somebody that left a political party become more stronger than the party? It's just a movement.
NDC is not a person.
NDC is just a party. They left, and when they leave, ADC become more stronger and more structured.
But did you hear about the number of people that registered in one day? Did that not scare you?
Let me tell you, the number of registration does not amount.
Who joined the party, I mean? And you say they have no structure.
No, the number of registration does not amount. Nigeria does not have a very verifiable data. Anybody those people that register in ADC are still people that registered in APC. There are still people that registered in AZ. So Nigeria does not have a verifiable data that you can say that so many of these are the number of people that registered. These are the number of people that registered. If you watch it very well, you see multiple names. The same people that register here are also the same people that register there.
Right now,
sir.
To register in more than one party, you must resign in one before you quit the next.
Yes, you must resign. That is the law, but it's not working.
How would you know?
Because I am in the system.
Okay, doctor, let me come back to the question that I asked you before. You haven't really answered the way I want you to answer.
All right.
Are you not worried with the fraction in your party? You're talking about registration and then structures. So these other fractions will also have the structure. You know, and is that not making you worried?
Thank you so much. With due respect, I want to remind you that there's no faction in the party. This question is in the past. The court has made their statement about it, and INEC has made their statement about it. Who is the chairman of ADC?
But INEC also went for all the primaries for this fraction. That's what we heard.
That is what we heard. So I say it is in the past. INEC has made their case. And the case INEC made, the recent information you are hearing is between what? Is it not between ADC? So INEC has made their case. Their case is that ADC is united.
No,
ADC is one.
Are you implying, sorry please, are you implying that, I mean, because there can be a court pronouncement. Like INEC can say what he wants to say, but can it change individual minds? How can you? I mean, if I say I don't like your face and I'm not in your camp, no, my court cannot let that. I mean, cannot rule over how I feel or support. Mindful of the fact that there are people in one party who are supporting actively people in another party. There are some very prominent, names we've heard here, but so what guaranteed that because I said that I'm with you?
We have to understand this. ADC, one focus, one ADC, one slogan, has given their verdict. Court has said that ADC, this is your. Understand that, as I said before, everybody has rights to express his or what he likes in any organization or in any political parties. It does not mean that your right is a final right. Every institution has its own principles and guidance. So as it has to say that our party, ADC, does no factions. Court has given their verdict. And the verdict is final, and that is what we are following.
That's court's verdict. That's what doctor is saying to you. That is not my verdict. Court can come and, decide for me where I want to be and who I want to go along with.
Now, that is for the voters. But for the party have its manifesto. The party has its constitutions. So, and that is why you see today, when when court is giving their verdict, as yesterday judgment, the verdict was given. So, which means that ADC is free to contest elections.
For now, if they don't go to the appeal court.
We are still free. We are not disturbed because we know we are winning 2007 elections. That's
Okay.
not two ways about
Okay,
that.
Doctor. How does ADC intend to reassure its supporters and stakeholders after all of these developments?
Then what is there is that they have to be focused. They have to be strong. They don't have to divert because judiciary has given ADC a lifeline. INEC have to give us an access. Court rules will come and go, but ADC will still remain intact.
What do you mean by access?
Access is that we are the credible alternatives, the alternative that Nigeria are looking for to access better governance. So INEC will give us that access.
I'm still...
Still not clear.
It's still not clear. The INEC should just hand over power to you, is that what you're saying?
INEC should listen to the will of the people, of the masses, because the masses want a better government. Pressure groups, some pressure groups from the ruling party are trying to make some maneuver. So the people want INEC to stand by the rule, by democracy. So they have to give access to what the people want, to the need of the people.
I take it that what you mean is that they should create a
level playing ground for all the political parties.
Yes, and
to thrive.
Yes, but which means that whoever emerges, even ADC has to accept it, whether or not.
Of course,
ADC.
Yes, we want a level playing ground. They have to give us access for a level playing ground, so that whoever that emerge, the people, Nigerians, we know that this is our governor, this is our president. Okay. There will be no dissentiment.
What if? I like the way every politician is an incurable optimist, you know. What if, and don't tell me God forbid, I want a practical answer. What if, we had somebody yesterday who, as soon as the announcement was made, he immediately declared that his party is no longer existing and he went straight, he's opting for joining the ruling party. What if, two scenarios, this maybe this is upturned at the Supreme Court. I remember I said, "Don't tell me God forbid."
Yes.
If ADC is proscribed today, assuming worst case scenario, nothing is impossible. Assuming, permit me to say God forbid, but you cannot.
Yes.
Okay. If that happens, that's on the one hand. Secondly, if ADC does not win the election, how would you feel? Let's start with the first one.
All right. You said that peradventure, if
ADC is not is deregistered.
Is deregistered. If ADC is deregistered, that should be that justice has been perversed, democracy has been murdered, because going by the fundamentals of this through the law, there is no way ADC will be deregistered, because ADC have maintained all the criterions that every political parties are supposed to maintain. So ADC has not failed in any area. So I have not seen any lacuna or any loopholes that will make the judgment against ADC. So ADC, by the judgment, I'm hopeful that will be justified.
It is not over yet. That's what Doctor is trying to say.
Yes, it is not over
yet.
But we are very hopeful because of what we have and because of the legal advantage we have. We are hopeful that we have overcome.
Okay, when we were talking earlier off camera, I was talking about the issue of NDC weakening the base of ATC.
Yes.
Because the coalition was obviously strong, and to a very large extent, I would say, should have been intimidating to the ruling party, because it was a coalition of very strong forces. But that was not to be at the end of the day, and then NDC suddenly emerged from nowhere and took very strong members out of the ADC. And yet you have maintained confidently that ADC is a stronger party and that NDC is just a paper party. Why did you make those statements? And why are you so sure that ADC, in spite of what has happened, can take over power in 2026?
Thank you so much, Doctor. ADC is building structures. We are not building slogans. Like in Lagos West, in Lagos State, the 10 local government in Lagos West, we are building. 20 local governments in Lagos State, we are building. We are building our local government structures. We are building our ward structures. And we are trying as much as possible to make the voters to understand the need for a credible alternative, the need for a change. So for that reason, before now, we have the strength. Legally, we have the strength by the type of candidates that we have that contest in our various positions, the House of Assembly, the House of Reps, the President. So we have credible, tested politicians over years. So we are good to go. We are just waiting to be announced as governor. As governor.
Every other party will tell you they have
without votes.
Even without voting, Nigeria has known that we are going to emerge.
Even without votes.
Before the voting counts, all Nigeria has known that ADC will win 2027 elections.
Doctor, pardon me to remind him that every other party also are hoping that they win the elections and have credible.
Every other party. That's that thing. I love that word you use. Every other party,
including the ruling party, including NDC.
Now let me remind you that every other party, how structured have they been? How strong has they been?
They all have their structure.
How strong has they been?
You can't say it's only ADC that has structure.
How strong has they been in their oppositions? If ADC has not been a strong opposition, why has it been that the ruling party has been throwing spanners, throwing chains? Remember, okay, let me even shock you. The 4 political parties that was deregistered, remember that the governor of Osun State, he's emerged in one of the 4 political parties that was about to be deregistered. And by August, there will be election. So didn't you view something over it? So it is, they don't pursue a weak person. They pursue the stronger person. Because when the stronger person is weakened, the winner takes it all. So ADC in the news every day. ADC in the news every day. Have you not asked yourself, why is ADC?
So NDC is not on the news. Other parties are not on the news. It's just ADC.
Other parties are not in other parties, so I don't know whether they're on the news.
I like your confidence.
Okay. Are you ignoring the fact that the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, I believe has emerged as a candidate for the People's Democratic Party? And you know the PDP obviously has structures across the country as well, in spite of what has happened to the party over time. Leave the ruling party. Do you not think that the opposition parties are seriously weakened? I mean, look at the force PDP is coming with. Look, and you cannot ignore that they will not follow. Look at what has happened with NDC that took a lot out of ADC, and then with what's left in ADC. I mean, I can imagine the coalition of all three, how formidable it will be. But how, I mean, does this not bother you that there are very strong opposition parties? It's not just one, you know, trying to fight the ruling party that is united with not less than 32 governors.
Well, I am happy about the competitions. You know, it makes democracy thrive, and it makes Nigeria to have choice. When you have different political parties, people have their choice based on the ideologies of those political parties. Now, but I have to tell you that during the coalitions, very many percentage of PDP are in ADC, and very many percentage of Labour Party are also in ADC, and some members of the ruling party, we call them Omoluabis that are also in ADC. So the coalition brought about strength. It's also brought about experience. It also brought about alternatives. But you know, no matter how you leave a party, that party will also find somehow to survive. So I think that PDP is managing to find somehow to survive. That is not to say that their era has gone. They will find somehow to survive. But I'm so much confident that all these things make us democratic. So ADC in its own have so far been the best and the most strongest opposition party Nigeria has ever had or Nigeria have ever taken off.
You've not been tested. The former ADC has not demonstrated that. And
we will be tested 2027 and we'll take 100%.
So we cannot be talking about future. We're talking about what we need to look at in order to make such projections.
The past glory.
Yes.
Yes, all right. Even before 2027, 2019, ADC took third in the presidential election. ADC took third in the presidential election. Even when ADC was not still as big and strong as it is today, we took third. So imagine as an average party in 2019.
What was the number?
Number of what, sir?
You said
voters.
With what percentage? With what number?
The percentage is irrelevant. What is relevant is your position.
Okay.
Because as at then, we still have so many other political parties.
Okay, Doctor. We're going to be rounding off with this last question I want to ask you. Looking ahead, what are the ADC's priorities and survival strategies in the wake of this ruling? You know, the new ruling, the old ruling, the new ruling, and probably the ruling to come in future.
Our strategies is to be calm. People should not fear. There is no confusion. The goal is straight. ADC is one. Our slogan is one. One Nigeria. The voters be ready to vote for credible alternative. Vote for a change. Vote for a better Nigerian. So we are wishful and we are hopeful and we are confident that the judgment, both tomorrow, in the future, and to be, ADC will come out successful.
Doctor, I'm going to leave him to you. We just have one second.
On that optimistic note,
yes,
I want to wish you and all the other parties all the very best. It is certainly healthy for us as a people to have credible opposition parties. It helps to balance the polity. So we'll be watching the days ahead, and we'll be bringing you updates, the latest updates, and what is going on in the polity, so that you can take a well-informed decision going into the elections in 2027. At this point, I would like to, go ahead.
Yes, Doctor, thank you so much for, letting the viewers understand. We'll be bringing them, as it's playing out in the world of politics of Nigeria today. And to Dr. Oche, thank you for always finding time to be here.
My pleasure.
Thank you. We hope ADC, is as confident as you are. And to our viewers out there, thank you for staying tuned. We're going to be taking you back to Benin for the continuation. I'm Patricia Oremu Gabriels.
Top of the morning to you, and thanks for joining us on ITV News for this time. I am Harry Igbo-J. The federal government says the digital switch over DSO program is not only a broadcasting initiative but also an economic transformation project with the potential to expand opportunities for broadcasters, content creators, advertisers, and millions of Nigerian viewers. The Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, stated this Tuesday at a stakeholders meeting on the digital switchover rollout in Nigeria convened by the National Broadcast Commission, NBC, in Abuja. Reports.
At the meeting, which brought together key players in the broadcasting industry to deliberate on way forward for the digital switchover project in Nigeria, the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, reiterates federal government's commitment to the successful implementation of the program. He notes that the DSO will enhance broadcasting quality, improve spectrum efficiency, and create new opportunities within the media and creative sectors.
The digital switchover program, it is an economic transformation initiative with the potential to expand opportunities for broadcasters, content creators, manufacturers, technology providers, advertisers, and of course, millions of Nigerian viewers.
The meeting later proceeds into a closed-door stakeholders engagement session chaired by the Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, alongside the Chairman of Broadcasting Organizations of Nigeria, BORN, Chief Tony Akiotu. Following deliberations, a communique is presented to journalists with stakeholders reaffirming their collective commitment to the successful implementation of the digital switchover program across the country.
The digital switchover project remains necessary and desirable for Nigeria. That the transition should prioritize national interest and industry sustainability. That more regular and continuous stakeholder engagement and consultations are essential. That local content development and local manufacturing should remain central objectives to the DSO implementation. That the DSO model must ensure sustainability across the broadcasting value chain.
Stakeholders also pledge continued collaboration with relevant government agencies to ensure that the DSO program delivers improved broadcasting services, wider audience reach, increased revenue opportunities, and greater value for Nigerian consumers. From Abuja, Abigail Aderemi, ITV News.
The Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, ETSEC, says it is fully prepared to conduct a free, fair and credible local government council election slated for July 11, 2026. Chairman of the Commission, Honorable Jonathan Afoboka, says preparations have reached an advanced stage with all necessary arrangements in place to ensure a smooth electoral process across the state's 18 local government areas. Patience Usarugiwa has more.
With less than 1 month to the Edo State Local Government Council elections scheduled for Saturday, July 11, 2026, expectations are high for increased political activities across the state. Ordinarily, campaign rallies, political meetings, and party publicity materials would dominate the public space at this stage of the electoral cycle. However, the political atmosphere remains relatively calm, with only limited campaign activities observed in many areas. Speaking with journalists, Chairman of the Edo State Independent Electoral Commission, Honorable Jonathan Ifewoka, disclosed that the Commission has commenced the sorting and packaging of electoral materials ahead of their deployment to the 18 local government areas. He also reassured residents of Edo State of the Commission's commitment to transparency, fairness, and credibility, noting that every vote cast will count.
We are prepared in every area that is expected of us to be on ground in preparation for the election. In fact, the awareness is very high. So we're encouraged by what they're doing. Everyone should come out to vote for whoever is the candidate of his or her choice. The vote of every individual will count. Let the individual political parties and their candidates campaign and let them set their objectives to the people.
Meanwhile, findings by the news crew indicate that some registered political parties may not field candidates in the forthcoming local government elections. Despite this development, the chairman of APC in the Pobaka local government area, Honorable Sonny Ogbewe, says the party is fully prepared for the election.
What we are doing here is the campaign to officially unveil our candidates from councillor to the chairmanship. We are doing that vigorously to showcase our candidates. We are ready for this election head on. We are fully prepared. We are not taking any stone unturned.
From Benin, Patience Osaugiwa, ITV News.
Paul Vincent Ezeko has been installed as the Ojionwe of Olele community in Huode local government area. Pius Nsolo reports that natives who were in high spirit rolled out the drums to celebrate the installation of the new community head known as Ojionwe.
Elders escort the newly installed Pa Vincent Ezeko from the Okwedion known as Elders Jamba. After performing the traditional rites according to Benin custom and tradition, women, youths, and other residents who were waiting outside jubilate as they received their new Odionwe. Some young men were also initiated into Elders' Council. Some elders were full of appreciation for Ewa II, the Oba of Benin.
Omonoba ze erimare pa Vincent Zeko ozo Dionwe Oma na anado de baiwe vinoke ke Oba atokpe.
Oba ye we man yagogo ebunati ogege won de. Imagine peace. Imagine fumegbe.
Speaking during the ceremony, an elder, Pa Osanere Ovanere, urged individuals who have purchased land in the community to present themselves for verification.
We are using this opportunity to tell the general public that the period of Kingsley Amayo, who was an illegal Odionwe of this community for 18 years, have been declared as illegal. Therefore, all transactions he made, land, likewise, they are all null and void.
The installation of Pa Vincent Izeko marks a significant milestone in the history of Ogege community and reinforces the role of traditional institution in community development. From Ogege in Benin City, Pius Nsogo, ITV News.
A social dance has been held in honor of late Pa David Egwagi Dahusa, the Odionwe of Igwemohwa, who passed away at the age of 94, as family members, friends and associates gathered to celebrate his life and legacy. Among dignitaries at the event were the Chief Judge of Edo State, Justice Daniel Yobosa Okungbowa, top government officials, the Assistant Inspector General of Police, Zone 5 Headquarters, Salman Dogo Gaba, among others. Ofuri Aneto has details.
It was an atmosphere of celebration and remembrance as children of the late Pa David Egwagi Dahusa welcomed guests who came from far and near to honor the memory of their father. The event featured moments of joy as family members, friends, and associates joined the children of the deceased on the dance floor in celebration of a life described as impactful and well spent. Paying tribute, family members and guests described the late Pa David Dahusa as a God-fearing man, educationist, role model, and father figure whose wisdom, compassion, kindness, and generosity positively imparted many lives within and beyond his community.
He was a caring father. He was a father to all his community, everybody. He was an only child that brought everybody together in his family.
He was a man of great wisdom and compassion. Every little favor done him, he appreciates wholeheartedly. He's a man that I will truly miss.
Every moment with my father was never a dull moment. When he advises you on a thing and you take that advice, it will go a long way to help you.
He's an amiable fellow, humble in spirit.
He lived a life of honor, a life with indelible footprint.
Earlier, a service of song was held in honor of the deceased, during which family members, friends, and associates offered prayers to a man whose life was marked by service, wisdom, and dedication to humanity. From Benin, Ofuri Aneto, ITV News.
And to other stories where the House of Representatives has invited the nation's service chiefs and the National Security Advisor to appear before lawmakers amid growing concerns over insecurity. Lawmakers say the meeting is aimed at obtaining a comprehensive assessment of the security situation and reviewing strategies to tackle threats ranging from banditry and kidnappings to insurgency and communal violence. Members of the House expressed concern over recent attacks in several communities, calling for urgent action to protect lives and property. Security experts believe the session could provide an opportunity for closer cooperation between the legislature and security agencies in addressing emerging threats. And that report wraps it on ITV News for this time. Thanks so much for watching. I am Harry Igbo J. TMI Socials is next. Please stay tuned.
ITV, certainly the best.
The man went out to bring in thugs to come and beat her.
Yeah.
In a situation like that, do you think women would have seen that and still want to speak?
Really, we're talking about. That's what I said. So when they bullied her,
Yeah.
if she's not bold enough, she will shut up.
What is your advice for girls out there
that are so desperate to be married.
We women, we have to be really intentional about our parenting.
If you know a child is being abused, or you see signs, a bruise or a child, it has to be investigated.
People barely even breathe when they are going for a shrebi and something.
Party.
You have to be
They
smart.
can't sit
If
down.
you see where they are dressing them or are dragging on both sides, you cannot breathe. And these women will stay in those events for hours just to keep up with that beauty trend.
Is that healthy?
That's not healthy.
I am Patricia Uremu Gabriels, and we're reaching you live from our Lagos Network studio. Of course, Women in Conversation is a program designed for women to discuss about themselves.
ITV, certainly the best.